This is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Scoop News. So the Tiger Bay Club, most of you guys probably never heard of it, but for some reason the politicians believe it's the place to be, and they were there yesterday. Hines with the county commission, Hollick, the mayor of Venice, and the vice mayor of Northport, McDowell. So they were all there. They were discussing affordable housing and hurricane shelters. Hines made it clear that, hey, we don't support the Sarasota Memorial Building giving us the land to build out a hurricane shelter there. They've supported it for the longest time. Now they don't. Who knows why? They don't. They're for hardening Taylor Ranch now. Taylor Ranch was a Category 3, I believe, and when Irma broke out, a lot of people went there and they said, sorry, we're not opening it. But now, somehow, who knows how, the state considers it 18 feet above water sea level, so now it's acceptable to be hardened. And it's eligible for about $455,000 to make more hardened, I guess, and to help as an evacuation center to do the upgrades and all that stuff as a short-term answer until they find a better solution. As I said, it's a multi-pronged approach or two-layer approach that Hines has. The county also wants to build a multi-use building in conjunction with the city of Venice. They would use it as a recreational facility for indoor pickleball, volleyball, and tennis, in addition to a hurricane center. Now they just have to find the land. So that's where it all comes in. Rich Collins, who is the Sarasota County Emergency Service Director, basically put that idea forth to the county commission. It hasn't been really sent out to the public yet. They're looking at different locations. One that was mentioned is the county-owned land off Knights Trail as a possible location, but it's something that the city of Venice and the county have to talk about in regards to financing, which is something the city of Venice has not been fully on board as to the financial end of it. They just don't want to put the money out. So that's up on the county on the evacuation hurricane shelter issue. Now, affordable housing. Northport has been historically the area that people have gone to in search of affordable housing, but now they're saying, according to McDonald, that they're suffering from its own crunch down there. Recently they talked about the commission giving a blessing to a 189-unit mixed apartment complex that would be built. It's by a Wisconsin company with 20 years experience going down there. Hollick once again raised his prospect of something he's been striving to do, is building out along the ICW. He basically said, look, let's partner with Sarasota County and the city of Venice. We own a lot of that land. Let's create a community redevelopment agency, a CRA, to finance it, something that he's approached the county several times about, and they've shot him down several times. He's basically said from the KMI to center, it's all primary development property. Something that we should look at. I've been telling people ever since I ran for mayor 3 years ago that Hollick was planning on doing this. It was in the paper I think 3 years prior to that. Hollick denied it. They changed their own ordinance, I think about a year ago, that started allowing it. Then you had Casada and Mike Miller come in and say, well, we have affordable housing that we want to put in there. And I actually bought into it, and then I started looking at it, and I said, after I put out that video, and I'm like, wait a second. What's happening is the developers are determining the definition of affordable. So what is affordable? A lot of us, when we hear affordable, us common folk, we think the affordable to the person that has 2 kids, they're working, a husband and wife are working 2 to 3 jobs, $800, $900, maybe $1,000 a month is affordable to them. To the developers, they're pushing affordable as $1,400 a month or $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month. The other issue is once you set up the affordable, what happens after someone sells it and they sell it at the market price? It's no longer affordable. Something else you got to look at is the state just passed, and I shared it about a month ago, where basically the city and the county were forcing these developers to put a percentage of their homes built as affordable. Well, the state came in and said you can't do that anymore. So that's another issue there. And we all have problems. I mean, Hollick is deep in the developers, deep into Boone. Boone controls him. Daniels, who I'm running against, he'll probably win. The developers, Jeff Boone, everybody controls him. You could just see all the money flowing his way. It's from all the realtors. They want more housing, more redevelopment, and it's something that's probably going to happen, all right, out there, because more than likely, if you just, I mean, I hate to say it, it's not that I'm not positive about winning, but when you get $16,000 in a month for a job that pays $12,000, you get all this money flowing in your way. You get Mike Millers, the Jeff Boones, the Nils, the Casadas, all the realtors supporting you. This is what they want. The people aren't involved enough, so this is what's going to probably happen. So now Hollick is trying to get the county on board to say, hey, why don't you help us in this endeavor to build it out, and we'll make sure it's affordable. Again, with the development community defining what is affordable. They looked at another issue that Hines has been pushing. He pushes, I think he started, I've heard it, I think a month or two ago at a county commission meeting when I was listening, about Westfield Mall, because it's basically a ghost town now, but infrastructure is all set up for water, bath, everything. It's in a prime area. Why not approach them and see if they're interested in us redeveloping that land into a partnership with the county into affordable housing? Tiny homes, that's a possibility. But what you have to do in Venice and Northport and everywhere is rewrite the development regulations to allow for these tiny homes. I believe Northport and Venice just talked about it. They're all on board, but they want to make sure that there's certain guidelines out there. One roadblock that Hines mentioned, which is very true, is not in my backyard syndrome. Now, what's funny is he said he wouldn't mind a tiny home. Keep in mind, Hines lives right here in Nokomis, right on Donna Bay, in a wealthy area. I don't know if they're $1 million homes, but there is no room to build there, so he could say that all day long because he knows a tiny home won't be built next to him. And B, I can guarantee you, if there was a parcel of land that could be built out right there on Donna Bay, Nokomis, his neighbors would not be, there would be not in my neighborhood syndrome. So Hines is basically saying that, knowing that it will never be built in his neighborhood. It's like me sitting here in Pine Brook. I know tiny homes will never be built around me because it's all built out. So I could sit here and say, I'd be all for tiny homes in my neighborhood. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, but I could say it because I know it's not going to happen. So that's where we stand. What will happen, I don't know. Again, it's this whole definition of affordable that concerns me. That whole CRA movement that Hollick is pushing just isn't going to happen, I don't think. He's been pushing it for years. One of the primary people against it has been Hines. You won't see a change if and when Daniels gets in. You're not going to see a change. It's going to continue along that line. Whoever replaces Hines, it's going to stay that way, where most of the area is going to be focused on what do the developers want, because they control it. They control the judges, they control everything. So that's life in the fast lane. And what I'm telling you guys as citizens, as residents, you got to get more active. You can sit there all day long and say, oh, I'm on Facebook and I support this and this is bullshit and I'm going this way. But unless you're going out and voting and affecting change, unless you're going out there and doing the groundwork, I can't even get people to help me go out, hand out flyers, yet they all want change. That's the amazing part. Do they really, or is it all just talk? All right, so that's where we stand on affordable housing and evacuation centers. This has been Frank with The Scoop.